Koby's always been a middle of the pack sort of leader, not too strong but not too weak. However, with the new EB03 set, we're seeing some new support, which makes it a lot better. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Mabi here, and today I'm going to be giving you my personal deck profile for this red and black Koby leader that originally came out in OP11. However, this is going to be for EB03 and below. The whole game plan of this leader is you are red, so you do have a little bit of rush, but you are also a black leader, which means you have a little bit of control, specifically through KOing. Koby's ability here allows him and the sword archetype removing by KOing by attacking instead of the usual with on effect, which makes it good but also pretty bad. So let's go ahead and talk about every single card in this video breakdown. If you guys are interested in just the deck profile, you want to skip everything, head on over to the website Mabi TCG.com. There you can see this deck and many others we cover in image and text format. Now, we're going to be using proxies today. This allows us to play IRL with friends before the cards even come out. So if you guys want to see full duels featuring this, link down below, and there's going to be a full playlist where you can see this and every card that we cover. So let's talk about every single card. Starting with the leader, Koby, OP11 5000 striking leader, 4 life, red and black leader. There are two abilities here. The first ability is your sword type characters, meaning anything with the sword down here, right? It can attack characters the turn they are played, meaning they can attack legal characters. They have a pseudo rush, so to speak. So if your opponent has a rested character, they can attack into that. They cannot attack leaders, and also there are abilities which give you, the leader, and your characters ability to attack active characters. So if normally it's just rested into attacking, but if they get that as secondary ability, they can attack active characters. The second ability here is once per turn, when one of your navy characters doesn't even necessarily have to be sword cards, but with an original power of 7,000 or less is removed from play by any of your opponent's effects, KOing, bottom decking, trashing, etc. You may place 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. So you're going to be seeing a lot of cards in here that allows you to trash and draw, and you need a little bit of extra stuff in the trash, not just for this ability to protect your cards, but also your late game Koby cards, which allows you to pretty much increase the power of your leader for a temporary portion. Alright, if you guys are enjoying the video so far, please make sure to like and sub. It really helps out the channel. Let me know down in the comments below which leader do you want me to cover next. I actually covered Koby because someone commented, so let me know what else you want. Specifically, maybe cards that have been updated with EB03. I think that'd be really cool. Okay, so lowest to high cost, we have Bad Manners Kick Horse in here, so from OP04. This one costs 0. The ability is counter. Trash 1 card from your hand, can be any card. In this deck, there are 16 character bricks. So yeah, this is really useful in here, especially when you have more than 10 plus bricks. Having a couple of these, or any cards in general that help you discard cards, is really good. Up to one of your leaders or character gains 3,000 power. So this is interesting because it is not a navy or sword card, so it's not searchable, but it's still a really nice card to have in the deck. The trigger here is give up to one of your leaders, opponent's leaders or characters negative 3,000 power. It's a great effect. You can run this one, or you can run this 6 fingers pistol if you want, but I prefer just running this one. It's just my own preference, but both of them do really good, the same sort of thing in the deck. All right, so we're running 2 of these. First, it's going to be our searching called Kujyaku from OP11 101. On play, top 5, look for a navy, which every sword card in the deck is a navy, so that's wonderful. Other than Kujyaku, add it to your hand, the rest go to the bottom. Now this one has another ability here. Activate this during your main. Trash this character that's on the field already, so you can search with it. You can trash it the same turn, leave it on the board, and use it again later. Up to one of your characters only, not your leader, gets 1,000 power during this turn. Now remember, this deck you have a lot of ways for characters to attack other characters, so it's really nice to have this extra 1,000 when you need to get that little extra punch in. It's a good card. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now it's going to be Ripper from OP11 111. If you have a black navy character other than Ripper on the board, this character gains blocker. Really great card. It's searchable by your navy stuff. And while you do specifically need a black navy type character, so Kujyaku here wouldn't matter, it's okay because your late game black cards, your black navy cards, like this Koby or these Helmeppos, these are going to be on the board. They're a priority to be on the board, so that's why Ripper is in here. If you don't want to run Ripper, let's say you have a lot of red cards, you could run like the 2-cost blocker Don Quixote Rosinante. That would be really good as well, but this is nice because it's only a 1-cost. Great card, man, running 4 of these. they are really helping out. They really help you out in a bind. All right, now for one of our 2Ks here, Prince Groose, OP11 122. When attacking, all of your opponent's characters with a power of 2,000 or less cannot activate blocker for the rest of the turn. It's a good card, but it's also a little niche. First of all, he does have pseudo rush thanks to sword. So if you need to use the ability to activate and, you know, make sure blockers don't attack, you have to make sure he actually has a legal character to attack on the board. So if your opponent has one active blocker and you have no way of giving Prince Groose a way of attacking active characters, because he can technically attack somebody that's like 5,000, not do any damage, you know, etc. But it's a little rough. That scenario is not that often. So it's a decent character, but even if you do attack into something like that, you know, it's 2,000 to 2,000. It's a little rough, but it's here because it's a navy sword searchable card. But if you know, best case scenario, your opponent has a big body on the board that you attack into with this pseudo rush, and then they have a tiny blocker like a Ripper, right, with 1,000, 2,000 power. Then you can go over it with your leader or some other cards. Okay, so 2 of these. Next is going to be Aramaki from OP11 122. Activate this during your main. Trash this character that's on the board. If your leader is navy, which it is, choose one of your characters, not your leader, with navy type. That character can attack active characters this turn. Then you trash the top 2. Technically, you can use both of these together, so you can activate this for the blocker that can't attack and then have a big body goal for game or something like that. That's probably going to be how you're going to be using this, unless you have like other character cards on the board. This also has trash 2 from the top of your deck, which is good for the leader ability and the Koby, as I said later. Unfortunately, if you play these cards, they're not going to have anything to do on a later turn. You definitely don't want to put 3 more Dawn on them to attack, unless you really have to. But basically, you're most likely going to be playing these for like the final or second to last turn. So, you know, that's what you want to use them for. Otherwise, it's just going to be a searchable navy card. Another searching card here. I'm going to be a navy officer from OP11. This one costs 1. Activate this during your main. Look at the top 3, grab any navy other than this, add it to your hand, then trash the rest. Important for trashing the rest for your leader ability and that late game Koby. The trigger here is activate the main effect. So your searching cards are I'm going to be a navy officer and is Kujyaku. It's a total of 8 searching cards. Really good. I think 8's a good sweet spot for a lot of decks these days, just to be more consistent, especially if you're running a good archetype. Now, this is a new card that came out in EB03. Let's quickly talk about this. Hibari, navy and sword. 350. This is the first of our character bricks that you're going to be seeing here. So on play and then later when attacking, and remember you do have pseudo rush, so technically you can give this character maybe one of your leaders or another character in the same turn if you're able to pseudo rush with this. Up to one of your sword type leaders or character can also attack active characters. So this is almost very similar to this Hibari, which came out in the original set that Koby came out. However, this one you can play out a lot more earlier, and that's why it's going to be really good for the deck. Activate this during your main. Once per turn, give up to one of your opponent's characters negative 1,000 power. This is really powerful. You can run a lot of things that, you know, KO on power. You can absolutely, you know, just keep this active and then give something negative 1,000 power during every single turn. So your leader or any other characters can attack right into it. Now, comparing again with the 5-cost Hibari. On play, negative 2,000. This is main effect every single turn. 1,000. That's good. When attacking, you give your leader up to one of your leaders can attack active characters, which is decent. However, this one is other characters. So actually, I think this Hibari has a little bit more of, you know, just abilities that are going to work in more scenarios than that 5-cost Hibari. The only reason why you would run the other Hibari is if you maybe don't have these ones, or maybe you just like the attack here. But I do like both of them. However, I think running more than 2 of each in a deck is a little overkill. So we're running 2 of these because they're also bricks in your hand, but they're pretty useful in general. So nice. It's one of the new cards from EB03. It's decent, but I personally wouldn't run more than 2 just because super break and, you know, it's a little weak in general. All right, next it's the other new card from EB03. This is good. Run 4 of these. They're amazing. Okay, so EB03. 4, 6, and bricks in your hand, but that's okay. 2 abilities here. On your opponent's turn, all of your sword type characters that cost 6 or less gain 2,000 power. So maybe if you want, you can run more of these. I did say they were weak. However, if you run this the next turn, this one does some attacking, then on your opponent's turn, it's going to be rested. However, it's going to have 7,000 base power. This one rested, it's going to have 8,000 base power, and that's really good for a 4 cost. The secondary ability is also amazing as well. On play, trash a navy type character, doesn't matter if it's red or black, any navy card, then you get to draw 2 cards. Now that's why we're running around, as I said, 16 or so character bricks. You have these guys, but then you also have these Kujyakus. You have 4 of them because they help you with more hand advantage, getting rid of extra bricks in your hand, and on the board they're just 8,000 during your opponent's turn, which is so good. So amazingly good new card. Both of these are the new EB03s. Super higher priority on this one. So this is just an amazing card. Also searchable by your, well, if you you can't unfortunately grab this one, but you can grab it with this event one. So it's a super good card, but it still can only be grabbed by that one. Damn, this card's good. Okay, 1, 2, and if you have more than one, you can stack them for sure. But yes, being able to, you know, give people defense and, you know, trashing drawing, that's just really powerful on decks. Okay, time for this Koby that came out in PRB02 451, 2 abilities here. During your opponent's turn, if your leader is Navy, which you can use in other Navy decks if you want, this character gains 1,000, so it's pretty weak right now. However, it does gain 1,000 power during your opponent's turn for more defense. If you have the Kujyaku, it'll gain 2,000 more, making it 8,000 on your opponent's turn. Also, when attacking, you can KO a 3,000 base or less on your opponent's turn, which is good. There's a lot of 3,000 base powers, especially these days when you have a lot of stuff that, like, you know, like small blockers like that, or even small searchers that have a secondary ability that they want to use later. You can KO them right away. But the kicker here is the secondary part here. If you have 6 or less cards in your hand at the time that you activate this when attacking, it doesn't matter if you KO somebody. You don't have to. You can KO 0. You get to draw cards. So both of these 4 costs are amazing. You're pretty much your early game. It's just setting up, searching, putting up defenses, and even setting up a Hibari or 2. But then your mid game, it's all about Koby and Kujaku. Really good for keeping your guys defensive plus and trashing stuff. Really good for even drawing more stuff. Both of these together, extremely powerful combo. So good. Your mid-game swords are amazing. Running 3 of these, because I would say these are probably more of a better usage. Okay, now for dolls, one came out in OP11. We're running 2 of these. 4, 1, 1. So this has an 8 blocker for 1, really weak. However, the on play can trash 1 card from your hand, which is, once again, a lot of bricks in your hand. If your leader is Navy, give up to one of your opponent's characters negative 6,000 power during this turn. So you can use it to, I guess a lot of people would like to use this against big bodies on the board that are active or rested. Your deck is really good for attacking into those. A really good one is going to be the 8 cost Eustace Kid, the green one, which protects a lot of characters. You can attack right into it. It's really good. So stuff like that. Running 2 of these, so we have a total of 6 blockers in the deck. Alright, next is going to be the other Hibari, which I talked about just very slightly. OP11 560, more bricks on play, negative 2,000 for somebody. When this character attacks, this character gains 1,000, making her a 7,000 for the turn. Then if your leader is Navy, up to one of your leaders can attack active. So once again, this is decent, but I kind of like the other Hibari's ability. This one is just stronger. And because it is a 6 cost or less card, you remember the Kujyaku here, as long as a 6 cost sword, it gets plus 2,000. So it will also be an 8,000 on your opponent's turn. So you can, this is pretty good too. But only 2 of these, brick, very niche scenarios. Okay, time for Helmeppo. This is your, towards the late game, super good card. OP11 670, on play you can trash 1 card, keep trashing cards, keep trashing really bad cards, right? And then draw another card. Then you play up to 1 character other than Helmeppo that has a sword trait, costs 8 or less from your trash. Then at the end of the turn, the card that you summon gets bottom decked. Amazing. So the best ones you want to summon with this particular card, a 8 cost or less sword, it's going to be these Kobys here, these 7 cost promo Kobys, or these 8 cost Kobys. Secondary one's going to be Drakes, of course, just for the little bit of damage here. And then I've also, you know, during duels, I've also even summoned stuff like this Kujyaku, because this one can attack, but it also is really good for gaining cards. So if you have your Koby in your, if you have a Helmeppo, you have a Koby in your hand, the 8-cost Koby, you can actually play this, trash the already, 8-cost Koby that's already in your hand, and use this to summon that Koby. It's really good, man. So really great card, can be found by all of your searching cards, and there's just so much possibilities here for a lot of stuff, and you are filling up your trash a lot. So during the time that you play this, you either have a card in your hand you want to play, or you have something in your trash that you want to play, which is going to be, like I said, those Kobys as the high priority, and then your other ones if you want. But just remember, it's going to get bottom decked at the end of the turn. So if you have Helmeppo, you better, hopefully you can, think about the future plays and what you're going to be summoning. All right. Next is X-Drake. This is a new card I'm adding that wasn't in the last deck of a 2K that I'm running in here. Okay, so OP11 672. It's in here because it's Navy, but it's also Sword. So small scenarios, you can summon this regularly if you need to do a pseudo rush to attack for 7,000. You can get that. Also, it's another target from Helmeppo if you really need to and you don't have anything else. It's a pretty decent 2K for the deck. We're running 4 of these. We're running 1 Honesty Impact. I like this event a lot. It's from OP11. This one costs 6. Activate this during your main. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -4,000 power. Then you KO a 6,000 power or less. You can technically use this and KO a 10,000 character. You can give -4,000 to someone you're going to be attacking to, while at the same time giving 6,000, KOing a 6,000 power or less another character. So you can do a 2 birds with 1 stone sort of situation here. The trigger here is KO 6,000. Man, this thing goes off. It's most likely to kill something. Great card, Navy, Sword, so searchable by all your stuff. Okay, Koby. This is from promo 771. So 2 abilities here. When you're on your opponent's turn, this character gets -3,000 power, making it go to 6, 5, and 4,000 only. Womp womp. Now, unfortunately, this one is way too high of a character cost to be used with Kujyaku's ability of a 6 cost or less. So this one does not get buffed by that. It would be nice because it would become a 6,000 power, which wouldn't be worse. But the really good thing about this ability is the secondary ability. So when attacking, if your leader is Navy, your leader's original power becomes 7,000 until the end of your opponent's turn. So this is good. The only requirement here is when attacking. You don't need to trash cards or anything like that. And by the time you play this, you might have the extra Hibari on the board. If your character has nothing but active characters, you can go ahead and have this character attack a leader and then give this Koby the ability to attack, and then this guy can attack active characters. Give your leader 7,000. Your leader can, do some 7,000 shenanigans until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is so good. So anything that allows you to, consistently and temporarily keep your attack up, especially your leader attack up, is just super powerful. I'm running 2 of these. All right. Now for Koby from OP11 890, 2 abilities on play. Up to one of your characters can attack your opponent's active characters this turn. The turn that you play this, you're most likely going to be using it on Koby itself, unless your opponent has just a bunch of, other rested cards, because this can pseudo rush things to your leader's ability. It's a secondary ability. When attacking, return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck, and this is why you really want to put a lot of stuff in your trash. Koby protects stuff. This Koby allows you to activate this ability, which is give your leader or up to one of your characters plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. Now, I've done a ton of duels with this. I don't think I've ever given another character plus 1,000. I've always given my leader plus 1,000 because it gets the power to attack this turn, plus it's for defensive purposes as well. So really good. If you can just play this straight out on its own, it's good. It's most likely going to get a lot of play, even if you don't summon it with the Helmeppo, because it can give itself the ability to attack a active character, which is 9,000 power. So good. But just like this Koby, this character level is way too high. It won't be able to get the buff from Kujyaku. But other than that, it's just really good. And by the time you play this, you're going to have at least 4 or 6 cards in the trash. So every single turn, you might be able to keep doing it. And best case scenarios, maybe even 2 Kobys. This one survived. And the next turn, you double attack with Kobys. Your leader goes up to 7,000. Now, if you also think about how it combos with this, the base original power comes 7,000. If you use this, it becomes 7,000 base. You activate this, it'll become an 8,000 base. You activate 2 of them, 9,000 base until the end of the turn. Now that's probably one of the best late game scenarios. But if you have just 2 of these in one turn, or sorry, in the turn after one of another, it's your leader's just gonna have a lot of extra power. Time for the final card of the deck. This is a red deck, so I've opted to run in some rush cards. It's either these 2 dragons or 2 of the 4-cost Kid and Killers. I think 2 rushing cards is really good for any deck. So OP07 Dragon, 8, 9 brick, which is, brick, a lot of stuff. This has rush for 9,000. On play, 2 rested dons to your leader of one of your characters. So in this deck, there is no sort of abilities you get on your leader or your characters for attaching don to them, but it's still good for just putting them on and doing some extra attacking. So, let's say your opponent is super dead. They have nothing left on the board. However, they removed everything. You can go ahead and throw out this dragon and do some rushing, end the game. The only bad thing is of course, there is no searching power here, but that's completely fine. So that is the deck, guys. This Koby is absolutely stronger than the original OP11 version. I think the inclusion of the 3 new sword characters since it got released, which is going to be the 4-cost PRB02 Koby, these Kujyakus, which is really nice, and of course these Hibaris, they really fill out a lot of the weaknesses that the deck had, which was you continuously attack into their characters. However, that leaves your characters more vulnerable. But thanks to PRB02 Koby, you can buff himself up for 1,000 more. And of course, that Kujyaku for plus 2,000 for itself and all of the other cards. It's a really cool deck, and I recommend it if you want to try out this Koby in EB03. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching. Like I said, the website has the thing and a link in the description for the full playlist for all of the decks that we're going to be using in duels. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.